Hello international students, here are some things to know when signing a lease before you get to EIU. Know that you can live in a residence hall for free for 4 days while you try to find permanent housing, so there is no need to choose a place before actually seeing it in person. Feel free to contact Student Legal Services with any questions or concerns about a particular housing contract or lease. The faculty there can assist you in reviewing a particular lease or in offering advice about choosing the right place to live in Charleston. To contact Student Legal Services, call 217-581-6054, or you can make an appointment by filling out a form online. If you're living off campus, make sure that you read and understand the housing contract that you get before you sign it. If you don't understand it, get a copy of the lease and bring it to the student's attorney so that they can explain the lease to you. If a landlord doesn't agree to give you a copy of the lease, this is suspicious and you should reconsider trusting this landlord. Make sure that you take a tour of the actual apartment that you will be renting before you sign. Don't just look at a model of an apartment that won't be yours. If you make any additional agreements with your landlord, include those in writing on the lease so they can be referred to later. Don't sign a lease that has blank spaces. Ask your landlord for a copy of your lease once you sign it so you can refer to it later if needed. Whenever your landlord promises you something, get it in writing so they are held to their end of the deal. Make sure that you are absolutely positive that you want this apartment before you give your landlord a security deposit up front. Also, make sure that you negotiate a period with your landlord where you can possibly change your mind about getting the apartment so you can get your security deposit back. If you're living on campus, make sure that you explore all your housing options by going to the housing website on EIU's site. This will also be where you can apply for housing online when you decide where you want to live. Decide whether or not you will need to stay on campus over break periods. Only certain residence halls allow you to stay in your dorm over breaks. The fee for staying over breaks is also $85 a week, so make sure that you have enough money to pay the fee to stay as well. University Court and university apartments do not require you to pay a fee for breaks. Choosing to live in a residence hall means you will be paying for a room and board contract, which includes a meal plan. Make sure you specify which meal plan that you want before you finalize your contract. Also, note that meal plans can always be increased, but they can't decrease after the Friday following the first day of school. So make sure you plan your meals accordingly to know how much you need before you get a meal plan that might be more than you need. A $50 application fee is required when you send in a room and board contract, so make absolutely certain that you want to live in a residence hall before you submit it. This fee is not refundable. Pay a $250 down payment to the university to secure a spot in the residence halls. If something comes up where you have to cancel your contract, this down payment is refundable. Decide if you want to live with a roommate or not. EIU has different resources available for you to find a roommate that fits your living style, but if you do not take advantage of these resources, then you will be assigned to a random roommate unless you choose to live by yourself.
A housing contract is a legally binding document, which means you are legally and financially responsible for your place of choice, whether it works for you or not. This means it is imperative to be absolutely sure about the place that you want to stay in before signing a lease, which requires you to pay for an entire year of living there, unless stated otherwise. The severity of a contract also means that it is important to be sure of your roommate before signing a lease with them. Once you do, the both of you will be financially bound to the location of choice, with no ability to change your roommate unless you're living on campus. Ultimately, you cannot choose to sign another lease after finding out that you don't like your place of living because you will be financially accountable to pay for both places in that case. A housing contract also legally has to contain several clauses and rules that relate to the codes of conduct for you, the tenant, as well as the landlords themselves, so pay close attention. For instance, you should have rights stated in your own housing contract, like the right to privacy from your landlord. So the owner of your place must give you a notice before entering your apartment for any reason, unless it is an emergency. Note that the contract rules are often quite different between on-campus living and off-campus living. Another clause that should be noted when looking to sign a housing contract is that your landlord is prohibited from discriminating against you on the basis of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, or disability by refusing to rent to you or by establishing different rules for you. Thinking of having a roommate? Your contract will also include a joint and several liability clause. If you choose to live with a roommate, one or more, it is important to know that you are both financially and legally accountable to pay the rent and utilities for your place of living. In a case when one roommate refuses to pay or has insufficient funds to pay for a necessary bill, the other roommate will be held accountable to pay. Overall, having a roommate sign a lease with you binds both parties legally to the place of living. So, it is best to have some level of trust with the accountability of your roommate when choosing them to live with you.
If roommate issues occur, what can you do? It's always good to keep ongoing communication between you and your roommate. That's not to say that you have to be best friends, but maintaining a civil atmosphere is always a good idea. Some things that could be done to keep this going would be to have weekly meetings about possible issues and discuss things that could be done differently. If an issue arises, try to keep a level head and talk through it with your roommate and make your end goal a compromise that both of you will be happy with. If it's something that you feel that you and your roommate can't handle on your own, contact your RA. If it's a serious issue or problem that involves liability, contact Student Legal Services. There are 4 prominent transportation services available in Charleston and Coles County. These will prevent you from having to worry about transportation too much when you move in and start school. 4 services available are Dial-A-Ride, Panther Shuttle, Zipcar, and the Coles County Transportation Services. The first available mode of transportation is Dial-A-Ride. The Dial-A-Ride fares include Zipline $1 each way, out of county $7 each way, and out of city limits $4 each way. If you're looking for a group mode of transportation, the Panther Shuttle would be the best choice. There's an online EIU Panther Shuttle page that has all bus schedules available. Certain guidelines are important to remember when taking the Panther Shuttle. All passengers may be required to display an EIU ID. Drivers maintain the right to deny entry or ask an individual to leave the bus. No smoking, alcohol, pets, or bikes are allowed on the bus, and no weapons are allowed on the bus. A third available option is a Zipcar. The student plan is available and you can apply online. You can book by the hour or a day, and when you're done, you can return it to the designated parking spot and lock up with the Zip card. A benefit of using Zipcar includes saving money. All you have to do is book, unlock, and go. The fourth and last prominent mode of transportation in Charleston is the Coles County Cab Transportation. They provide in-town and out-of-town pickup, and you can travel to and from anywhere in the United States if needed. They also have a maximum seating capacity of 6 passengers at a time. Take advantage of the $10 one-way fare for any destination within Charleston. Call 217-345-7433 to learn more about Coles County transportation fares. Services are available 24/7 throughout the year. Wanting to drive yourself? In order to drive yourself around campus in Illinois, you must be an F visa card holder and have a valid driver's license in your home country, or have a valid international license. In order to drive legally in Illinois, you must also be currently enrolled as a student at EIU.
We hope these guidelines help your transition into EIU. Have a great year.